what is the point of DIY? Well, it kind of goes past any mental and logical barrier, and it's sort of like an innate, almost primal thing. You know, it's kind of embedded in us as humans, I think. As far as musicians go, you know, this is not for everybody, but like musicians can tell you that like it's hard to explain because it defies all logic, you know. There's not a lot of money involved, and there's a lot of like work. It's a very labor-intensive thing, but it's a labor of love. And who's ever been able to explain love, right?
In Burlington, music plays below the streets. From under the houses and apartments of this small city, dozens of bands and artists pour their hearts out in crowded, dark basements. Griffin and I play in a band called Moxie Shotgun. We've been in the scene for over a year now, but like a lot of bands, we're just temporary, about to go our separate ways. But before we do, we wanted to tell a story and show a world a lot of people never get to see. Many from outside might not understand the appeal, but to those of us who stand shoulder to shoulder at these shows, the draw is powerful. Juicebox is one of the most interesting bands we've played alongside. The 7 of them come from very different musical backgrounds, with the band consisting of 2 rappers, 2 saxophonists, a keyboardist, a bassist, and a drummer. They have a unique sound mixing rap, jazz, and funk. The band has acquired an impressive fan base for their age and DIY roots.
It's hard to not let the ego get stroked a little bit when the most established venues in town want you to open for shows and stuff like that. But really at the core for me, it's mainly just like the notion of that we get to all have fun and play music together. Mm-hmm. We make other people feel good too, not just ourselves. Like that's really the most rewarding part.
I met Jacob. I saw him rap and I was like, we should get an instrumental crew backing you.
Juicebox has made a name for themselves in Burlington, and people are starting to notice.
It's like they do like, you know, all kinds of like funk and like rap and like crazy stuff.
Juicebox isn't the only band blowing out basements in Burlington.
My name's Nate Topham. I'm in a heavy rock project called Zodiac Sutra.
The second I saw Nate drumming, I was like, I wish he was in my band.
Once I like started playing with him, it was like, wow, like there's like something really cool here. We wanted a bassist. We really needed like to get somebody in, and we were lucky enough to get this motherfucker.
It's definitely like music that's by musicians for musicians, and it's just fun. I don't know. And when you can nail it, like it's satisfying.
I think it also helps to have a style of music or maybe a style of songwriting that nobody else is doing in the area as well. Totally. It definitely is important to not be aping or like imitating, keeping it as organic and as unique to our personalities and the way we collectively work together as possible.
It's never really like about the money or like the attention or anything like that. It's really just about being in a scene with a bunch of people who are having a good time with you. I mean, for me, if it's like, you know, music that me and my friends get to make together that people like can get down to, that's all the better. That's just such a cool thing to be a part of.
Despite their comparatively small fan bases, all of these musicians still record and release their music independently.
Coming out of the studio with a song that sounds good and you feel good about, and you're like, man, I want to like text this to my parents. I really like having a solidified product like that, because it's hard to take a live show and like send that out to the world, but you can take a recorded single and be like, boom, listen to this.
Might drink a glass, a girl that dress look class, red M3, she don't have black tie function to go to, chuck it up to a lack of heat.
If you're really efficient in the studio, you don't have to spend that much money,
Yeah,
theoretically.
and we learned that by being really inefficient in the studio.
I feel like the best like takes in the studio are the most certain takes. Like for me, at the end of a take, I'm either like, yes, that was good, or no, that wasn't good. and if it's in any way like, no, that wasn't good, then I don't want it on the record.
Burlington's basement shows are spaces where creativity can be shared. But suddenly, all of that stopped. The coronavirus outbreak reminded everyone how fragile this small community is.
The head of the World Health Organization now says the global mortality rate of this new coronavirus is 3.4%.
Governor Phil Scott has issued a stay home, stay safe order.
Everything shut down or went online, including stores, restaurants, and even schools. Social distancing became the thing. Making music became much more challenging for bands like Juicebox that take advantage of college recording studios.
We're like trying to make headway recording stuff, but now that UVM's shut down, we can't be in their studio anymore. So we're gonna have to go somewhere else for those.
All of our gigs for the next 2 months basically got canceled. We're not taking gigs, we gotta focus on recording.
State officials ordered limits on gatherings to no more than 10 people. Any events or large assemblies were canceled, and DIY concerts were no exception. Juicebox was on tour as the crisis hit the U.S.
Playing out of state is nice. I wish that we had a better frame of reference that wasn't like, oh, playing out of state, playing out of state, playing out of state, global pandemic.
We had 2 shows canceled.
Great shows. We had 3 because the Orlando's gig.
Yeah, so we had a bunch
that
of
one
gigs
got
planned.
canceled too.
Overnight, it seemed like the world of DIY was on hold. All Burlington DIY shows were canceled for an undetermined amount of time. Reality was setting in. But even in the face of a global pandemic, the DIY community stayed relevant. Big Heavy World, Burlington's volunteer-staffed music promoter, launched live stream concerts.
This one's for all you babies in diapers.
So we started out offering our studio as a real low-key resource for artists to stream from if they weren't able to do that independently, so that they could stay in touch with people remotely with their music. You know, DIY to me means you're not waiting around for permission to do what you want. You're not waiting around for someone to tell you the parameters of what your vision should be.
We got 612 views, 621 views last night on our
So
stream.
first, it'll
like,
probably
that's
be
pretty
better
good.
than basement shows. That's
More people than have ever come to any
Exactly.
basement show I've ever played.
As in block Hart.
live streams have proved to be successful for many local bands, the atmosphere of basement shows is sorely missed.
It's pretty fun. Like, we get to bum around and play shows and like have a good time playing music, theoretically make small quantities of money doing what we like to do. After every show, people come up to us and are like, hey, that sounded really good. And we get to go up to each other at the end of shows and be like, hey, that sounded pretty good.
Like, we're all doing different kinds of genres and different acts and all kinds of stuff, but like, you know, people support each other and people promote each other around here.
Everyone's looking out for each other. No one has bad intentions. You know, it's a great way to get out of your comfort zone, man, but still find a piece of home no matter where you go.
So fast, damn it, pop, rush, bad, habit, pain, so fast, damn it, pop, rush, bad, habit, pain, so fast, damn it, pop, rush, bad, habit, pain, so fast, damn it.
To edges, I lost my wallet. The lady sent it back with hugs and kisses. See, that's why I believe it. That's what's holding. Not some book that's homophobic. My love's not anaerobic. I need to breathe it. That shit that leave me open. I like sex, I like weed. I tend to smoke that shit by ounces. But how the fuck can I pronounce it?
I just feel me cause I'm sassy. Yeah, he might do with the best. Be and the lane, see the best. If I create like you with destiny. Child of the system, fuck the risk you hate against me. Child of the system, so you know I'm on that frenzy. Nah. Let it say, got me fed, said it's them here, learn to dig like white cliff, pat it up, plus bed, have it paint so fast, damn it up, plus bed, have it paint so fast, damn it up, rush bed, have it paint so fast, damn it up, rush bed, have it paint so fast, damn it up, rush bed, have it paint so fast, damn it up, rush bed.